Okay, it's Thursday, February 2nd. There's a pre-opening SPY report. After a big run-up yesterday to take out some key levels, we are skewing to the upper end of the pre-market range, which is between these two blue lines. You can see right now the market with about a half hour to go is continuing to move up, so it looks like we're going to gap up a little bit. Clearly, that's a little tricky scenario on the daily chart. You know, this is not any actionable signal. It's just continuation, which could have exhaustion risk at any moment. We do have levels on the weekly chart up here to like the 419 area, even the 430 area. But, you know, we have 2 days to go in this week. It looks like we'll probably, hold green unless there's some kind of a little pullback towards the end of the week. And that should kind of signal a little higher next week, but we might have to get a little consolidation ahead of time in the short run. You can see here on the daily chart here. Let's say we have a day that kind of starts up here and kind of just is more of a choppy day, a consolidation day. That's going to set kind of a fair value gap between the low of whatever today is and the high of this day. So maybe the market decides to pull back a little bit before continuing towards those upper targets. We have some key level to monitor. This yellow line is the open of the month. That's very important to me. It's yesterday's open. So if we do kind of head up a little bit and don't really get much momentum and pull back, as long as we kind of hold in this area and start up again, those could be good buys going forward. So we'll just see what happens today. I'm not really excited to sell. The only way I guess I would sell, if let's say you get a big bar, a big shooter bar to start, there's some day back here where it would be an example of like this type of day where you kind of gap up, come down a little bit, then your next rally kind of fails to get to the halfway point of that first bar, then you start down again. This could be a little scalp trade to take out the intraday lows and maybe the pre-market lows, that type of thing. Also on the way up, maybe the way I'd be more comfortable playing it, I'm trying to find a good example, it would be more type of thing where I'd want to just kind of watch it. Well, I don't see a day here recently, but type of thing where I'd want to see it go up and then the first pullback kind of hold the midway point of the first bar and then start up again. Maybe that would be a safer buy than something right out of the gates. It's a little tricky today. That's kind of my point. But you got to be skewed to the upside, and we have key levels to monitor. I mean, if we have some kind of downside action, we want to see if that takes out the pre-market lows. If it takes out the pre-market lows, we want to see if it can move them below the midway point of yesterday. That would be the failure day that could possibly start. And then if that happens, do we then come all the way down and take out, the yesterday's low, which would then be turning the month red to start, and which that would be a sign maybe to start looking to the downside a little bit. But until we take out that yellow line, all the bias is up. It's just going to be a little tricky, I think, after a nice move up to break out. But that's the thing here. That's the key. We're looking, are we going to really hold this breakout area? If so, if we just consolidate in here without much of any kind of reversals that are obvious, then expect continuation higher towards these levels. And again, sometimes you get green. So, you can play the upside, but maybe you get stopped out a little bit if it doesn't follow through immediately. That's kind of the tricky thing when you're playing continuation. So let's see what happens today, but we have the key levels to monitor. We have the bias to the upside until some of the bigger picture charts change, and we'll just have to see if we get a lot of continuation today, or maybe it's more of a pause consolidation day. Also, if it is more of a pause consolidation day, you can use broadening action to the downside for little scalp trades back up, because I think people who miss this will try to be jumping in, and that'll be another thing to keep in mind if you really want to be aggressive, playing broadening action to the downside with the overall context, bigger picture to the upside. So we'll see if some of those maybe opportunities develop as well.